Good morning to all of you. Am I audible? Am I visible? Please let me know. Then we are starting one of the very important class. Okay, so it is perfect. Audibility, visibility is perfect. So now we are starting. 1 second. Okay, so 1 second. Okay, so a very good morning to all of you. Today's class is going to be a very important class. Once again, I am asking, am I audible? Am I visible? Then I am starting one of the very important class. You will get to know why it is very important. Please let me know once again. Okay, audibility is perfect. Visibility is perfect. Okay. So now I am starting our today's topic. In the last class I started, it's clear. Okay, so everything is fine, and now I am starting. So before starting, I am what we discussed in the last class. I'm revising that particular part. In the last class we discussed functions of ecosystem. We were discussing functions of ecosystem. Functions of ecosystem. In that particular part, we discussed energy cycle. Energy cycle we already discussed. In that energy cycle, we discussed what is the role of energy, what is food chain, what is food web, a rule of 10%, and many more things. In the last class we discussed, and at the end we discussed what is bioaccumulation. Bioaccumulation, and another concept was biomagnification. Biomagnification. With the help of many examples and diagrams, I tried to explain you what is bioaccumulation and what is biomagnification. So one of the students asked me in that current affair class also that what was the difference between bioaccumulation and biomagnification. I have explained that part again also, because it is very important and very confusing also. So bioaccumulation, we use the word when we are talking about when the pollutants concentration increases at a particular trophic level. Means in the same trophic level, when the pollutant concentration increases, then we use the word bioaccumulation. And when within different trophic level, when we are moving from one trophic level to another to different trophic level, when the pollutant concentration is increasing, then we are using the word biomagnification. This from till here we discussed in the last class. Today we are going to discuss another function of ecosystem, that is the nutrient cycling. It is very important. Why it is important, you will get to know. Another one is ecological succession, and third one is homeostasis. So today we will discuss these two parts, nutrient cycling and ecological succession. And tomorrow in tomorrow's class we will discuss homeostasis. Okay, so we are starting from nutrient cycling. Now, first of all, you should know what is a nutrient and what is the role of nutrient. So a nutrient is a substance used by an organism to survive, grow and reproduce. For example, if you can see in this particular image, a car is shown. For the effective functioning of the car, that engine is required, and that oil is required, fuel is required. In the same way, for the functioning of our body also, nutrient is required. And in our body, what all are nutrients? That carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins, minerals, gasoline. So these fats, carbohydrates, all these act as a nutrient. So basic meaning of the word nutrient is a substance used by an organism to survive, grow and reproduce. So what does nutrient provide us? Nutrient provide us energy, it provides growth, repair. For example, if a particular part is damaged, the nutrient help to repair that part, and it acts as a maintenance of basic bodily functions. So till now we have understood the what is the meaning of the word nutrient. Now we are moving toward nutrient cycling. So what is nutrient cycling? So what is nutrient cycling? It is very important. Here you can see, once again, nutrient cycling. For example, this is sun. With the help of sun, plant through the process of photosynthesis make their food. Okay, so energy, nutrient transferred from sun to the plant, they through the process of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis process I have explained in great detail in the last class. So if you have not seen the previous 3 classes, I will advise you to, first of all, you should watch those 3 classes, because now we are gaining some basic concepts, and slowly when we will be aware to the basic concepts, then our speed will increase and we will move to the advanced concept. So through the help of plants, through the help of photosynthesis process, plant make their food. What was the reaction? That carbon dioxide plus H2O in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is present in the leaves of the plant. It makes carbohydrate and oxygen. This particular reaction we have seen in previous classes also. So for example, this is a plant. This particular plant is releasing, is taking carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and it is releasing the oxygen. This particular oxygen is taken by human being. For example, this is human being. It takes this oxygen and release carbon dioxide, and this carbon dioxide is again taken by the plant. So in this way, a particular cycle is completed. Carbon dioxide is captured from the plant, released by the human being, and plant release oxygen that is captured by the human. So in this way, this particular cyclic process established, and this is called nutrient cycling. This type of cycling are many types. For example, nitrogen cycle, carbon cycle, water cycle. So in every cycle, what will be? For example, in nitrogen cycle, nitrogen will be moved in this particular cycle. Carbon cycle, carbon will move in this particular cycle. Okay, so till now we have understood what is the meaning of cycle. We have understood the meaning of the word nutrient and understood the word of meaning cycle. So here you can see in this image also, in this image you can see this is the sun, heat energy, producers. In the case of terrestrial ecosystem, these are the plants. They plant make their own food, so they are also called autotrophs. This food is consumed by the consumer, and when this consumer is dead and it is decomposed with the help of decomposers, then again those nutrients reach to the soil, and with the help of soil, plants again get those nutrients which it used to make the food. So in this case, the nutrient move in a particular cycle. So it is called nutrient cycling. Till now, I am trying to explain you meaning of the cycle. And once you understood the concept, then all the cycle, it will be easy to understand the different type of cycles. So here in this case, you can see this is the dead leaves. When these leaves are decomposed, then the nutrients available on those leaves is mixed with the soil. With the help of decomposer, these leaves are decomposed and the nutrients is available in the soil, and that particular nutrient is again taken by the plant with the help of roots. So in this way, if a cycle is established, this particular cycle is called nutrient cycle. So I hope you have understood what is the meaning of the nutrient and what is the meaning of the cycle. So nutrient cycle, the basic part you have understood. Now we are moving to the different type of cycles. Before moving to the different type of cycles, some basic points you should also remember, that this particular nutrients are recycled again and again indefinitely. For example, right now we are inhaling the oxygen and exhaling the carbon dioxide. So this oxygen atom and carbon dioxide atom, so these atoms also taken by our ancestors, these atoms will also be taken by our next generation. So in this way, the same nutrient is cycling again and again. Okay, so they can be recycled again and again indefinitely. And if we talk about the mass of our body, so our body's 97% mass is made up of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, and many more different type of element and compound. And more than 95% of mass of all living organism is made of this particular nutrients: carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and phosphorus. And so what was the meaning of the nutrient? The meaning of the nutrient cycle was that nutrient will flow from the physical environment to the living organism, and again from living organism to the physical environment. So in this way, a cycle will be completed and it will be called nutrient cycling, which we understood just through the images. Okay, so nutrient will move from physical environment to living organism, and then again living organism to physical environment. So a cycle will be completed, and in this particular way, a cycle is completed, and this cycle is also called biogeochemical cycling. Word is important: biogeochemical cycling. And these cycles are largely energized by solar insolation. Insolation, meaning of the word insolation is incoming solar radiation. Those are called solar insolation. So this nutrient cycling, the starting point is solar insolation. Okay, some basic thing you have understood till now: what is nutrient, what is cycle, what is nutrient cycling, and what all are important nutrients that we are going to study. For example, carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, which we are going to study in a great detail, because many questions, not only directly, indirectly, many concepts will be repeated on the basis of this particular nutrient cycling process. How and when we will solve the previous year's questions, then you will get to know. And I have told you 99% previous year's question we will solve in the class itself. Okay, so now I am starting the type of nutrient cycle. So this type of how many type of nutrient cycle is there? There are basically two type of nutrient cycling. So what is the criteria? Means on which criteria this classification is done. So this classification is done on the basis of replacement period. What does it mean? For example, in this particular ecosystem, for example, a nutrient is released, so there will be deficiency of that particular nutrient in ecosystem A, and through any process this nutrient again come back to the ecosystem A. If at the moment when this nutrient is released and through different process when this nutrient is replaced, if the time period is very less, then it will be called perfect cycle. And for example, if the nutrient is released at a particular time and it is replaced through any process, what will be process and which type of nutrient, that we will discuss. Different cycles, carbon cycle, nitrogen cycle. Just now I am trying to explain the basic, that how these nutrient cycles are classified. So here the nutrient is released, so there will be deficiency of nutrient. So if any process this nutrient is replaced, and this replacement of the nutrient is at the same time or very less time, then it will be called perfect cycle. Okay, it is replaced as fast as they are utilized. As the nutrient is utilized by some other mechanism, this nutrient is replaced, then it will be called perfect cycle. Okay, most of the gaseous cycle are example of perfect cycles. So in this gaseous cycle, we are going to discuss what is water cycle, what is carbon cycle, nitrogen cycle. These all particular cycles we will study. So perfect cycle means the as the nutrient is utilized, as at the same time this particular nutrient is replaced by the other mechanism, then it will be called perfect cycle. And if there is a time lag, means nutrient is utilized at a particular time and that replacement is taking place at a very longer time or very longer time, then it will be called imperfect cycle. So imperfect cycle, the nutrient will be lost from the cycle or are not immediately available. It will be available after some time. So that will be called imperfect cycle. And most of the sedimentary cycles are an example of imperfect cycle. So in this sedimentary cycles, we are going to discuss what is phosphorus cycle, sulfur cycle, calcium cycle, magnesium cycle. So till now you have understood what is the basis of classification of nutrient cycle. So basis was a replacement period. So if a replacement period is less, then it will be called perfect cycle. And most of the gaseous cycle are example of perfect cycle. And if this replacement time is very far, means long time, or the some nutrients are escaped from the system, or they are available after a very long time, then it will be called imperfect cycle. Okay, and most of the sedimentary cycles are imperfect cycle. So till now you have understood the basis of classification of types of nutrient cycling, that is perfect cycle, gaseous cycle, imperfect cycle, sedimentary cycle. Okay, so now we are moving to the water cycle. So water cycle, it was the example of perfect cycle, means gaseous cycle. So before discussing this particular part, you should know some basic concepts. Means what are the basic concepts? You have heard about evaporation, because some terms you should know, then you will be able to understand this particular part very effectively. This is the water. When this water is converted into water vapor at which particular temperature? 100 degrees centigrade, because boiling point of water is 100 degrees centigrade. So when water is converted to water vapor, then this particular process is called evaporation. Evaporation. If you will know this basic definition, then it will be very clear to the concept. And nowadays questions are asking analysis based, application based, and for application based question you should have the crystal clear conceptual clarity, that many times I have told you in classes also. Crystal clear conceptual clarity, because questions are coming on analysis based, application based, application based. And how this crystal clear conceptual clarity come? Through the you should know the basic small to small things like evaporation. So here what is the meaning of evaporation? When water convert into water vapor, then it will be called evaporation. Okay, so it is the meaning of evaporation. And if the what is the reverse process? Means water vapor converting the water. then it will be called condensation. These are very basic concepts, but you should know. You will study these concepts in geography also. What is evaporation, condensation? When you will uh, learn the different type of climate and that rain cycle, then you will again get to know these concepts also. But here, what is required for my class, that particular basic concepts I am telling here itself. Okay. So what is evaporation? Water converted into water vapor, then it will be called evaporation. And when water vapor converted into water, then it will be called condensation. Okay. So this is the first step of the water cycle. So water cycle start with this particular first part, that is the evaporation. What is next part? Next part means till evaporation, water has been converted into water vapor. Now that water vapor start condensation. So second process is condensation. Third process, one more thing. Here one term comes, transpiration. Transpiration. What is transpiration? For example, this particular plant, one leaf is there. Here small pores are available. They are called stomata. I have explained you in the photosynthesis process also. With the help of this leaf, if the water converts into water vapor, then this process is called transpiration. So transpiration is also a type of evaporation, but that evaporation takes place at the leaves, means with the help of leaf. When water is converted into water vapor, then it will be called transpiration. Okay, this point also you should know. So first point is evaporation or transpiration. Transpiration is also a type of evaporation, but that takes place with the help of leaves. And now this evaporation and transpiration, first step, second step is condensation, third step is precipitation. All these steps you will see the diagram, then that imaginative memory will stay for longer time. Okay, so I am moving now. Till now you have understood the basic concept and what is evaporation. All this concept I will explain, and then I will come back to the complete cycle, means that complete water cycle in one slide. Okay, so what was first point? Evaporation. Evaporation, for this is the sun's heat energy. It transforms the water into water vapor. So this particular process is called evaporation, and this evaporation depend on temperature, humidity, wind speed, solar radiation. You should know this particular part also. So you understood what is evaporation. Second step was transpiration. Transpiration is also a type of evaporation, but that evaporation takes place with the help of leaves. Okay, so it is the evaporation of water through minute pores or stomata in the leaves of plant. Or you can see in the image also, these are the roots. That roots take up small water from the soil. This water is transferred from the roots to the leaves, and with the help of leaves, this water is converted into water vapor. Then this particular process is called transpiration. And after the transpiration, third process was that condensation, and after that precipitation. Okay, so what was condensation? Condensation was water vapor is converting back to the water. Here you can see in this particular image that water vapor is start condensing into, converting into water droplets. Sometimes it may be in solid state, sometimes it may be in liquid state. Means sometimes it may be called rainfall, sleet, snowfall, hailstorm. That basic terms you will get to know in geography section. Okay, so third point was precipitation. So precipitation, what was precipitation? First step was evaporation. Second step was, first was evaporation and transpiration. Second process was condensation, and after that precipitation. So precipitation was basically, you you will understand with the help of this particular example. For example, here the water is converted to water vapor. It is water. This particular water is converted to water vapor, and now this water vapor start condensing. Condensation means water vapor start converting back to water. So now these small water droplets are here. These small water droplets, they will start falling. Why? Due to the help of gravitation and this air force. What this force, friction force by the air, they will they will apply force in upward direction, gravitational force in downward direction. So for this particular water droplet, this friction force is in upward direction, gravitation force is in downward direction. So when the size of the water droplets is very small, then it will stay in the equilibrium condition. And slowly the different water droplets start combining. Then their size will increase, their mass will increase. And when the mass will increase, then gravitation force will increase. And when this particular component will be higher, then water droplet start coming down, and it will be called a rain. It may be called rain, it may be called snow, sleet, hail. These different points, when it will be called which particular phenomena, you will study in geography section. Okay, so this is the concept of precipitation. Means in the precipitation part, that moisture content is released in the form of, maybe in the form of solid state, or maybe in the form of liquid state. When this particular drop size is more than 5 millimeter, then it will be called rainfall. Okay, so what was the precipitation? Precipitation was a release of moisture. Okay, so what was the different steps? Here you can see in this particular example, this particular image. First step was evaporation from ocean and lakes and streams. First step was evaporation. With the help of evaporation, water starts converting into water vapor. And with the help of plant leaves, it was transpiration. Now this water is converting into water vapor, and when water vapor starts condensation, means water vapor again starts converting back to water droplets, then it will be called condensation. And when this water droplets starts combining, and when their size will be such in a huge number that the gravitation force will be more than the frictional force, then these water droplets starts coming down. So here this particular phenomena will be called precipitation. Precipitation is the release of moisture. Release of moisture. Now this rainfall is occurring, and this particular rainfall, surface runoff, this water is running on the surface, and this water will also be stored at a ground level. So water started from this particular part, converted to water vapor, then condensation, then precipitation, and then again come back to the initial position. So in this way, a complete cycle is completed. You can see here. And when this particular cycle is completed, then we will call it water cycle. Okay, so I hope you have understood what is the water cycle. So before moving to the next cycle, what was the composition of the water? Means that how much percentage of water is stored in which part? Means that how much water is available for drinking purpose, how much water is available in the groundwater form, lakes. That particular statistics is very important for prelims point of view. Here you can see that the out of the total water on the surface of the earth, approximately 90% of water is in the ocean, that is saline water, and 3% water is only fresh water. And out of that 3%, groundwater is 30.1%. Out of the 3%, ice caps and glaciers 68.7%, and other surface water. and out of that other surface water, lakes containing 87% water. So these small things you should know very clearly, because it is very important statistics. Questions are asked regarding the arrangement of the, means which particular, they will provide you 3 4 options, and they will tell, they will ask for arranging those, that in which direction water is decreasing or increasing. So you should know ocean 97.27%, then ice caps and glacier 2.05%, groundwater, then it comes lakes, then soil moisture, then atmospheric water vapor, and then streams and rivers. So you do not need to remember all the fact, but you need to remember that order, that in which order which particular water reservoir is coming after which. Okay, like ice caps and glaciers to 2%. So you may not be able to remember this 2%, but you should know that it is at the top in the fresh water category, then coming water, groundwater, then coming lakes. That chronology is important. Chronology you have to remember. Okay, so this particular part was related to the some statistics related to the water cycle, which is also called hydrologic cycle, because the water chemical composition is H2O. Okay, hydrogen dioxide. So this particular cycle is also called hydrologic cycle. So I hope you have understood what is the water cycle, different steps, what is the composition of the water, means in which particular source how much water is stored. Now we are moving to next cycle, that is the carbon cycle. It is very important, because nowadays UPSC is focusing more on climate change and this carbon related phenomena, because whole world is struggling to reduce the impact of carbon. So for you should know the what is the sources of the carbon. When you will get to know what all are the sources of the carbon, then you can act, then you can make a strategy to reduce the impact of carbon. So for this particular part, it is very important to understand what is the carbon cycle. Okay, so this before studying the carbon cycle, you should know again that some basic part, that basic, what is that particular basic part. I have explained you earlier also. For example, these are the plants. Plants use carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, water from the roots. With the help of roots, they take minerals and water, and in the presence of sunlight and in the presence of chlorophyll, they make carbohydrate and oxygen. This particular equation you know very well, because I have discussed it many times. So now this atmosphere, what was the composition of atmosphere? Atmospheric gases, highest amount was nitrogen, then it was oxygen. Nitrogen was around 78%. That percentage you will not remember, then it's okay. Oxygen was around 21%. So 99%, it becomes 99% of the gases are comprising of nitrogen and oxygen. Then out of the 1%, at third position was argon. Argon was a inert gas, and the fourth position was carbon dioxide, CO2. So right now we are focusing this particular part, CO2. Okay, so it is at the fourth place in the atmospheric composition of the air. So this atmospheric carbon dioxide is captured by the plant with the help of photosynthesis process, and with the help of this process they make their food, that is carbohydrates, and release the oxygen in the atmosphere. This particular oxygen is taken by the human beings or different type of organisms, human beings and different organisms, for their respiration purpose. In the respiration process, this oxygen is taken, and which particular gas is released? This carbon dioxide is released, and this carbon dioxide is taken by the plant. So in this way, a complete cycle is established, and this particular cycle is called carbon cycle. Okay, carbon cycle. Now this atmospheric carbon dioxide, nowadays the concentration of this particular gas carbon dioxide is increasing very much. So the need of the R is to capture this carbon component, this carbon dioxide. So what all are the sources, means where we can capture the carbon dioxide? That is the focus of the world community right now. So we can capture the carbon dioxide where? The soil. If the carbon present in the soil, that is captured from the atmosphere to the soil, then this particular carbon is called soil carbon. Okay, this particular carbon is also taken by the plants through the process of photosynthesis. They make their food, and this particular carbon dioxide is also taken by the ocean, means water bodies. In water bodies, one of the autotrophs I have told you, that is the phytoplankton. This phytoplankton is very important to understand many concepts. To understand many concepts, this phytoplankton is very important. If you have not watched my previous 3 lectures, then I will advise to please watch those lectures, because if you watch those lectures in chronological order, then our understanding will develop, and that understanding will help to understand the concept more effectively, which is the demand of the UPSC. So this phytoplankton, which is autotrophs in the ocean. Autotrophs, what was the meaning of the autotrophs? Autotrophs means they make their own food. Their own food. Those plants which make their own food are called autotrophs. And in the ocean, this phytoplankton acts as autotrophs. They make their own food. So right now I am talking about ocean system. So this phytoplankton, they also make their the phytoplankton make their own food with the help of photosynthesis. And in the photosynthesis process, I have already told you that the carbon dioxide is captured and oxygen is released. So in this way, ocean also capture the carbon dioxide. And when this carbon dioxide captured by the ocean, means water, then it make carbonic acid, H2CO3, carbonic acid, and further it will make carbonate ion. And carbonic acid means the water source which is sequestering the carbon dioxide. It is making acid, so the nature of the water body will be acidic. Okay, so this carbonate ion will be formed inside the ocean. And if you are able to remember corals, I will explain you all the important concepts related to corals, but the coral body structure was made of carbonate ion. Okay, so corals also indirectly helping to capture the that atmospheric carbon dioxide. It is converting into carbonate ion, and that carbonate ion is used by those corals. What this concept is there, this concept I will explain you in further classes. Right now I am trying to explain you that where the what all are the sources where this carbon dioxide can be stored. So soil, plant, ocean. And in ocean, one phenomena, that is the carbon sequestration. It is this particular concept. Once again, this particular concept, carbon sequestration, that I will explain you in a great detail. Right now I am just trying to give you some of the application of this particular carbon dioxide, means where we are going to discuss what all are the dimensions where we are going to discuss the concept related to carbon dioxide. Okay, so till now you have understood what was the basics of carbon cycle. Now we will understood with the help of these images, because with the help of image it will be very easy to remember the thing for a longer duration of time. So here you can see carbon cycle. What was the meaning of the cycle? Means that particular nutrient will released and will again come back to the same level at the same location, that it will be called cycle. So here the word is carbon cycle. So carbon will be released in the form of carbon dioxide, then again it will come to the same location, then it will be called carbon cycle. So here the carbon is exchanged, and carbon, what all are the sources of the carbon, this is very important. Okay, so all living things are made of carbon. Small statements can be made in the this UPSC prelims examination, because nowadays there's direct question are not coming, application based questions are coming. So you should know what all are the carbon sources. And so the all living organisms are made of carbon. And without carbon dioxide, in the previous prelims, questions came that if the phytoplankton, I have told you it is present in the ocean, means water body, and it is autotrophs. It make their own food. So if the phytoplankton, all the phytoplankton of a ocean are removed, then what will be the possible effect? This particular questions asked in prelims, one of the prelims, that year I am unable to remember, I think 2014 or 15. That question I will explain you when we will discuss the phytoplankton again. So this, in the 10 pillar approach, one of the section was possibility based question. In possibility based questions are asked like, if the phytoplankton of the ocean are removed, then what will be the possible effect? If the temperature of the world is increased by 3 degrees centigrade, then what will be the possible effect? If the butterflies of the world are destroyed, then what will be the possible effect? These type of possibility based questions are also coming in the UPSC. So one of the section of our approach, which I have discussed in your YouTube channel, our YouTube channel, DIADEMY IAS, was the possibility based question. So one possibility based question can be framed here itself. What was that particular question? The question may be that if carbon dioxide does not exist, means if carbon dioxide is not present in the atmosphere, then what could be the possible effect? What can be the possibility? And they can make some statements. So one of the possibility may be that if carbon dioxide is not present, then those plant will not be able to make their food, carbohydrates, because in the photosynthesis process, carbon dioxide and water converted to the carbohydrates. Okay, so that food will be not prepared for the plant, and on the plant many animals are dependent. On the plant, we as a human being are also dependent. So one of the possible effect may be that it will, means it will impact the existence itself, because that food component, where we will get the food, because when plant is not working with the help of photosynthesis, that food component, the food cycle may be disturbed. One more possibility effect may become when we will discuss the global temperature, means that this particular concept, I think here you may be confused, but this is the earth, sun rays are coming here and they are reflecting back to the atmosphere, and here this carbon dioxide is able to capture some of the heat, and that some of the heat is essential for the sustenance of the life. So this life sustenance component, if carbon dioxide is not present, then that atmospheric air composition will not be able to hold the heat which is required to for the existence of the life. So that particular part I will explain you when I will explain the global warming, because then it will be more clear. Right now I have explained the thing that if the carbon dioxide is not present in the atmosphere, then what will be the possible effect? So without carbon dioxide, life could not exist, because it is vital for the production of carbohydrates through photosynthesis by plants. Okay, and this carbon is present in the coal, oil, our DNA also. DNA means deoxyribonucleic acid. It is it contains genetic information. It passes genetic information from uh, one means from father to son, father to daughter. This genetic information, father and mother means parents to their children. This genetic information is passed with the help of DNA. Okay, so DNA also contains carbon. And what all are the different type of sources of carbon? Means, for example, this particular organism is there. For example, this particular organism A is here. So with the help of respiration process, you have to remember these two words: respiration. In the respiration process, they will release carbon dioxide. And in the decomposition, what is the basic of decomposition that I have explained you in the previous lectures? I have made you distinction between the decomposer and detrivorous. Okay, so in the decomposition process also carbon dioxide is released. So you have to remember these two words: respiration and decomposition. Now you can understood what I have explained you with the help of image. Here you can see this is the carbon cycle. You have to see this particular image very carefully and try to analyze the what all are the sources of carbon in the atmosphere and what all are the reservoirs where we can store the carbon, atmospheric carbon, to the different type of reservoirs. Like I have explained you that soil, that ocean. Okay, so here you can see in this particular example, this is the atmosphere. Burning fossil fuels. So when this fossil fuel is burned, then also carbon is here. You see the arrow. This arrow is in direction, means the carbon dioxide concentration is coming to the atmosphere. So this, when the coal, oil, gas, these fossil fuels, their burning starts, then it release carbon in the atmosphere. Decay, for example, this particular animal or plant, when decay or decomposition of that particular plant happen, then also it will lead to the carbon in the atmosphere. It is very important. Respiration, I have told you, it also adds carbon to the atmosphere. Burning, for example, this is forest fire, it was burning also adds carbon to the atmosphere. And what is the so what are the mechanisms through which carbon can be stored? Photosynthesis. Now the arrow is like in this direction, arrow direction is this, means that atmospheric carbon is again coming to the terrestrial system. So photosynthesis, you know that carbon dioxide is captured and oxygen is released. So here you can say this photosynthesis. And this is ocean system. In the ocean, that phytoplankton, I have explained you that phytoplankton is autotrophs. They make their own food through the process of photosynthesis. And in photosynthesis process, carbon dioxide is captured and oxygen is released. Okay, so what is the carbon sequestration and different concepts related to ocean, that I will explain you when I will explain the aquatic ecosystem. In the aquatic ecosystem, we will study what is corals, what is acid rain, and different many more phenomena related to aquatic ecosystem. Right now I am trying to explain you the carbon cycle. Okay, so this carbon dioxide is exchanged. It is taken by the phytoplankton in the process of photosynthesis, and the oxygen is released. That particular oxygen released through the photosynthesis process of phytoplankton is taken by the organism present in this particular ocean. And when this particular organism respiration, in the process of respiration and decomposition, this oxygen is again released. Sorry, carbon dioxide is again released. Okay, something you have understood related to carbon cycle. Now moving to the different image. Here also you can see what all are the sources through which you can add the carbon in the atmosphere. For example, you see the arrow, power plant. Here is power plant. This is the atmosphere. Arrow is in direction, means power plant. The burning of the fuel, it is adding the carbon in the atmosphere. Okay, respiration, it is adding in the atmosphere. Heating and electricity, adding in the atmosphere. Ocean uptake, it is taking the atmospheric carbon and storing in the ocean. I have told you that a concept of phytoplankton and photosynthesis process. So it is taking atmospheric carbon dioxide. Here you can see fossil fuels, they are burning, it will add carbon to the atmosphere. Vehicle emission, it will also add carbon to the atmosphere. Deforestation, very important. Deforestation, because for example, here this particular location many plants were there. So now these plants are capturing carbon dioxide, atmospheric carbon dioxide, this particular area A, where many plants were there. And these particular plants are capturing the carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen. But now you have started cutting these plants. Forest was there, now here deforestation. So now the earlier that part of the carbon dioxide which was captured by the plant is not available, because now the plant is not available, so those plant will not be able to capture that carbon dioxide. So in this way you added the carbon dioxide, means earlier it was capturing the carbon dioxide, now that plant is not available, so that capturing part will not be happen. So in this way deforestation also adds carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Okay, this particular component you need to remember, because when international convention UNCCD, United Convention to Combat Desertification, it is one of the very important. We will discuss when we will discuss the different type of national organization and international organization. So deforestation also adds carbon to the atmosphere. So this is forest, and this respiration process by different organism also adding to the atmosphere carbon. And decomposition, I have told you to remember two words, respiration and decomposition. Both the phenomena are adding carbon in the atmosphere. So all these sources you need to remember, because one question was asked in a previous prelims that we will solve after few slides. One more slide. This particular slide will help you to understand the concepts we will discuss in further classes, that is the carbon sequestration. Okay, so the same thing here, you can say photosynthesis. Arrow means it is taking the atmospheric carbon dioxide. Plant respiration, in the process of respiration, it is releasing the carbon dioxide. In the photosynthesis, it is capturing. Soil carbon, the carbon dioxide present in the soil, that is will be called soil carbon. I have told you the capturing part of the carbon, soil carbon, ocean carbon, photosynthesis, and many more phenomena are there. When I will discuss that particular carbon sources and their mitigation process, then I will discuss that part there. Okay, so that fossil fuel, cement and land use changes, this particular part will add carbon to the atmosphere. And this phytoplankton in the ocean part, I have told you they will take the carbon dioxide and release the oxygen. And in the process of this particular photosynthesis by the phytoplankton, whatever oxygen is released, this particular oxygen is taken by the marine organism. Phytoplankton, with the help of photosynthesis process, they capture the carbon dioxide and release the oxygen, and this oxygen is taken by the marine organism. This particular point will help you to understand eutrophication. How that when I will discuss the eutrophication, then you will get to know that this particular oxygen is taken by the marine organism. Okay, and when this marine organism do the respiration, and in the respiration process carbon is added to the atmosphere, and when this marine organism is decomposed, means their death occurs, and in the decomposition process also this carbon dioxide is added to the atmosphere. So all this basic phenomena you need to remember. Okay, so now we are moving to the prelims question that is based on carbon cycle. Means how the carbon was coming, what all are the sources, what are the some of the mitigation measures I have told you, like soil, that ocean, carbonic acid, carbonate, phytoplankton. That when I will discuss the that carbon sequestration process, then again I will discuss these particular things in a great detail. Okay, right now we have understood carbon cycle, and you need to answer this particular question which is on your screen. Consider the following. You just first understood all the options and decide what should be the correct answer, and everybody you need to mention in the comment section. Okay. Your active involvement is very important. Okay, correct answers are coming. Good, good, very good. Try, at least try. Develop that problem solving attitude that I have explained you in previous lectures also. That is very important. Because prelims is not only game of knowledge, it is game of knowledge, practice and application. So good, you are going in right direction. Your most of the student commented the right answer. So whatever I am delivering, I am hoping you are getting. That's why you are able to solve the question. Okay, now I am solving this particular question. So consider the following. Question is photosynthesis, respiration, decay of organic matter and volcanic action. Which of the above add carbon dioxide to the carbon cycle on earth? ये क्या कर रहा है, इनमें से कौन सा ऑप्शन कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड को ऐड करेगा एटमॉस्फेयर के अंदर? ठीक है, देखते हैं. फोटोसिंथेसिस. I have told you that in the photosynthesis process, carbon dioxide is captured and oxygen is released. So it will be wrong answer. Means that particular statement will not add carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. It will add oxygen to the earth. Okay. So first will be wrong. Then option 1 gone. Option D gone. Option B and C remaining. In the B and C, 2 and 3 is common. 2 and 3 is common. So 2 and 3 is correct. If you are not knowing, then also you can choose that 2 and 3 statement will be correct. The fourth part is remaining. Respiration. Respiration process, I have told you two words, respiration and decomposition. They add carbon to the atmosphere. Okay. So respiration process, decay of organic matter, decomposition, that also I have told you. It will also lead to the adding of the oxygen in the atmosphere. So 2 and 3 are correct. Volcanic action. In the volcanic process also, carbon dioxide is also released, sulfur dioxide is also released. So volcanic action also lead to release of carbon dioxide. So fourth is also correct. So answer will be C. So those who have correct marked the C option will be correct answer. So you will be getting to know that which type of questions are coming in the previous year's question, and your preparation should be according to the demand of the previous year's questions. Are you facing any problem in that visibility part? Anybody? Because in the last class we were facing some problem. In today's class, if that some screen is becoming blur or something, please let me know. Because now I am moving to one of the very important concept, that is a nitrogen cycle, and this is very confusing and very important also. It's clear. Okay. Okay, so today there is no problem like that screen was blurring in the last class, but today it's no problem. Okay. So now I am moving to the next concept, that is a nitrogen cycle. So before nitrogen cycle, You prepare yourself mentally, because this is confusing for many that non science background student, because the arts background student, they are not in touch with the science concepts, so they face very difficulty in this nitrogen cycle. So I will try to explain each and everything, so you will get to know it holistically, and any questions related to this particular cycle will come, you will able to answer. Okay, so be ready. Are you ready for the nitrogen cycle? It will take around 15 to 20 minutes in one stretch. Please let me know, are you ready? It's very important and very confusing also. Okay, so you are ready for the nitrogen cycle. Is my speed is okay, or today's speed is means it's something faster than you are getting any difficulty, or it's okay? Okay, because slowly my speed will increase. Once you will understood the basic concept, na, slowly in the upcoming classes my speed will increase, because I will give the reference that this particular part we studied in the first class, in the second class. So speed is fine. Okay. So now let's start nitrogen cycle. So before starting the cycle, like all the session, I try to give you some basic thing. So what is the basic in nitrogen? Okay, nitrogen cycle. Here many terms will come. First I am explaining the different type of terms. Then I have included many images here. So you will get to clear the thing very comprehensively. First of all, so we are starting nitrogen cycle. This nitrogen cycle, it is also an example of gaseous cycle. Till now, in the gaseous cycle, we will discuss three the cycles. One, that water cycle, that particular part I have explained you. Carbon cycle, that is also I have explained you. And now we are moving to the nitrogen cycle. After that, we will move to the imperfect cycle, that sedimentary cycle. In that, we will discuss phosphorus cycle. Okay. So nitrogen cycle, in the atmosphere, nitrogen is the abundant gas. Around 78% is nitrogen gas. But this particular nitrogen gas is in molecular form. Nitrogen molecule. This molecular form, nitrogen, is not directly taken by the plant. Not directly taken by plant. Plant is not able to directly capture the molecular form of nitrogen that is present in the atmosphere. So we need to change the molecular form to some form that is taken by the plant. Okay. So this particular molecular nitrogen is not directly taken by the plant. So we need to change the form of this molecular nitrogen, so that the changed form can be taken by the plant. Because to grow the plant, different type of nutrients is required, like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, different type of around 16 type of nutrients are required, that we will discuss in agriculture part. Okay, right now I am saying that nitrogen is also required for the growth of the plant. But that atmospheric nitrogen present in the abundant form cannot be taken directly by the plant. So to convert this atmospheric nitrogen in the form in which plant can take those nitrogen is called nitrogen fixation. First term is nitrogen fixation. First, I am explaining some basic concept, then all the images I have included. So this particular concept will be very clear to you. Don't worry, just whatever I am explaining right now, focus on that part. Follow me, I should say, follow me. Nitrogen fixation. So this atmospheric nitrogen N2 is converted to either ammonia, NH3. It is a formula of ammonia or ammonium ion NH4. This particular process is called nitrogen fixation. For this process, some different type of bacteria. This nitrogen fixation can be happen through biologically on non-biologically also. Through biologically process, there are some type of bacteria. These bacteria convert atmospheric nitrogen either into ammonia or ammonium ion that is usable by the plant. So this some different type of plants is also available, like those plants belong to legume family. Legume family plant like pulses. Pulses is an example of legume family plant. So in the roots of this legume family plant, this bacteria is available. Those bacteria convert atmospheric nitrogen, which is in molecular form, either into ammonia or ammonium ion. So if the living component is involved in this nitrogen fixation process, then it will be called biologically nitrogen fixation. And if not living component, means by man-made process or some natural phenomena, this nitrogen fixation is happening, then it will be called non-biological. So if the statement is like that, nitrogen fixation can be happen only through biological process, then this statement will be wrong, because it may be happen with the help of biological process and non-biological process also. Biological process, what I was explaining, some student now coming, okay. So I was explaining that nitrogen fixation is a process to convert the atmospheric nitrogen in the either in the ammonia or ammonium ion. It can be happen with the help of biological process. In the biological process, certain bacteria convert the atmospheric nitrogen in the ammonia, and some plants like the legume family plants, example is pulses. These plants have the root nodules, this type of bacteria. These bacteria can convert the nitrogen into ammonia or ammonium ion. So if the living component is here, then it will be called biologically nitrogen fixation. And if living component is absent, then it will be called nitrogen fixation by non-biological process. Example is, for example, in the formation of that Haber process. Haber process, which is man-made process, we with the help of many chemical reactions, we convert the atmospheric nitrogen in the ammonia or ammonium ion. So that is a non-biological process. Lightning, when in the lightning process, when the energy is released, then and that energy convert atmospheric nitrogen and oxygen reacts in the presence of that particular energy, and it becomes nitric oxide. That reaction is not required, just I am telling you that lightning is also a process with the help of which atmospheric nitrogen can be converted to the usable form that is taken by the plant. So this nitrogen fixation can be happen biologically and non-biologically, both the matter. Some first definition is this nitrogen fixation. Second is nitrification. Nitrification. Now this ammonia NH3 or ammonium ion, when this ammonia or ammonium ion is converted to nitrate. Nitrate means NO2 minus. Sorry, nitrite is NO2 minus and nitrate NO3 minus. When this ammonia or ammonium or that ammonium products is converted into nitrite and then again nitrate, this is nitrite, this is nitrate, then it will be called nitrification. Okay. Third is denitrification. Denitrification. So it will be opposite of nitrification. When this nitrite is converting back to this ammonia or ammonium ion, and then again to the nitrogen itself, because nitrogen is converted to ammonia. When this ammonia is converting to nitrite and then nitrate, and this nitrate is again converting back to the ammonia or ammonium ion and then to the nitrogen, then this process will be called denitrification. So till now, three keyword you have understood: nitrogen fixation, nitrification, denitrification. Now I am moving to the two more keyword is there, because after that you will be able to understood this nitrogen cycle very comprehensive way. Another keyword is assimilation. Assimilation. What is assimilation? Now this ammonia, ammonium, this nitrite, this nitrate, when this all this usable form, when is taken by the plant, then this process is called assimilation. Okay. Another term is ammonification. Ammonification. This 5 keyword is very important. Ammonification is there. For example, this particular plant or animal, whatever nitrogen component available in these plants or animal, when it is converted back to the ammonia with the help of decomposition process, when this plant or animal that containing the nitrogen components, when this nitrogen is converted to the ammonia, then this process is called ammonification. Okay, I will show you again this with the help of image. Till now I have explained you 5 key terms: nitrogen fixation, after that nitrification, denitrification, assimilation, and ammonification. Now we can move to the nitrogen cycle. Okay, so what is the nitrogen cycle? So in every cycle, that particular component will be moved in a cycle. So here the component is nitrogen, here the nutrient is nitrogen. So here you can see nitrogen cycle. But nitrogen is converted in different forms, and again it will come back to the same initial form. Then it will be called nitrogen cycle. And it can be happen with the help of both biological and physical process, means non-biological process I have explained you. And what all are the sources of nitrogen? That it is the building block of proteins, very important. Nucleic acid such as the DNA is made of this nitrogen, very important, very important. And this nitrogen is released in the atmosphere in the process of excretion in the form of excreta like the urea, urine. Through this process, nitrogen is released in the atmosphere, because the questions asked about the carbon sources, like in the same manner questions can be asked regarding the nitrogen sources. Okay, so this in the process of decomposition also nitrogen released in the atmosphere. Two keyword, if you are able to remember, respiration and decomposition. So that decomposition component adding carbon in the atmosphere, in the same way this decomposition process also add nitrogen in the atmosphere. And the burning of fossil fuels add nitrogen to the atmosphere. So these all sources are very important. Questions can be framed regarding the sources of nitrogen, because that pollution part is very focus area for the UPSC. Every year one or two questions are coming related to this pollution part. For example, earlier the questions was regarding that carbon sources, means carbon sources. Then questions was regarding nitrogen sources. Then in prelims 2019 question was regarding methane sources. In prelims 2020 question was regarding benzene sources. What all are the benzene? What all are the sources which will add benzene to the atmosphere? So this pollution part is very important. So this small information, that what all are the sources of the nitrogen that will add nitrogen in the atmosphere, it becomes important. Now we are moving this, after this basic concepts, we are moving to the again the same concepts which I have explained you earlier, but with the help of images. So nitrogen fixation, a process by which nitrogen in the air is converted into ammonia or related nitrogenous component, means ammonium ion. Then it will be called nitrogen fixation. It can be through biological process or non-biological. Non-biological fixation, like example of Haber-Bosch process, which I have explained you. It with the help of many chemical reactions, atmospheric nitrogen is converted into ammonia. That what all are the reactions that are not important for UPSC point of view. And the atmospheric process of lightning, with the help of lightning also atmospheric nitrogen is converted into ammonia. What is the reaction? That is not important for UPSC point of view. And the biological nitrogen fixation, so biological means it will be involvement of some living component. So it is happen with the help of enzyme. Enzyme is called nitrogenase. You have to remember. And that's that bacteria which fix the atmospheric nitrogen in the usable form. That bacteria is example is azotobacter. Very important. And some plants that I have explained you that belongs to the legume family. Those plants, like example is like pulses. In on the pulses part in prelims 2020, a question is asked regarding the pulses. The questions was very difficult. That what was the question in that I will discuss in agriculture part when we will discuss the pulses in a comprehensive manner. Okay. So pulses is an example of legume family. So legume family plants have in their roots nodules have the bacteria. They convert the atmospheric nitrogen into usable form. That is called nitrogen fixation with the help of biological component. So that's why it is called biological nitrogen fixation. So they contain symbiotic bacteria called rhizobia. This name is very important. This bacteria converts nitrogen into the ammonia. Why the word symbiotic? This symbiotic word we used in the lichen also. So because the lichen was an symbiotic relation of fungi and algae. What was the meaning of the symbiotic? Means both are fulfilling expectation and demand of the both the organisms. How? I will explain you with the help of slides in further slides. Okay, with the help of image. So this rhizobia bacteria, which is present in the legume family plant, that convert atmospheric nitrogen into ammonia. So it is the example of biological nitrogen fixation. Now here you can see in the image that this particular plant, this rhizobium bacteria is here. This rhizobium bacteria and another part is root nodules, means roots of the legume plant. This bacteria required the shelter. So this shelter requirement is fulfilled with the help of roots. And these roots of the plant required nitrogen. So this bacteria convert atmospheric nitrogen into ammonia, and that nitrogen requirement is fulfilled by the help of this rhizobium bacteria. So both fulfill their requirement. One's requirement is shelter, that is provided by the root nodules or roots of the legume plant, and another for legume plant required is nitrogen, and that is provided by the rhizobium. So both are providing each other's requirement, fulfilling each other's requirement. So this type of relationship is symbiosis. One more example, that is lichen, that I have explained you in the previous lectures. This is also a symbiotic relationship of algae and fungi, and on this particular part in prelims 2013 or 14 questions also asked. That questions we already have discussed in the class. Okay, so now you can see that this the legume family plant. What all are the examples? They are important. Examples are here, like beans, the snow peas, peanuts, soya beans, peas. These all are the examples of the legume family plant. So or at the root of legume family plant, this rhizobium bacteria is present, and this particular bacteria is able to convert atmospheric nitrogen into ammonia. Other things are not important, just you need to remember the examples of the legume plant family. Okay, this nitrogen fixation you can see in the image also, that atmospheric nitrogen, this atmospheric nitrogen in the air It is converted to the industrial process of Haber-Bosch process, I have told you. And fixing by lightning, this lightning is also converting the atmospheric nitrogen into ammonia. And this example is biotic nitrogen fixation, because here that bacteria is involved, living component is involved. So both this nitrogen fixation can be happen with the help of biological process also, and non-biological or physical process also. Very important. Otherwise, you will be confused that only bacteria convert the nitrogen into ammonia. That non-biological process, physical process like the lightning and Bosch process is also convert nitrogen into ammonia. So now the assimilation process, if you are able to remember, I have explained you what is assimilation. That different forms like the nitrite, nitrate, ammonia, ammonium are taken by the plant from the soil. This process is called assimilation. Ammonification, I have already explained you that particular plant and animal, when this particular part is containing the nitrogen, when this nitrogen is converted in the ammonia, this process is called ammonification. So ammonification is a process by which the organically bound nitrogen of microbial, plant and animal biomass is recycled after their death. Ammonification is carried out by a diverse array of microorganisms that perform ecological decay services, and its product is ammonia or ammonium. Means whatever nitrogen component is present in the plant or animal biomass, when this nitrogen component is converted to the ammonia, then this process is called ammonification. Here you can see what all are the sources and all the things which I have explained you, that is available in this particular diagram. This atmospheric nitrogen, free nitrogen gas in the atmosphere, and when this nitrogen process is fixed with the help of industrial process, for example this fertilizers is made with the help of industrial process, and when this fertilizers is used in the field, and when this fertilizer, for example this is the rain, this leaching of this fertilizers, this nitrogen is increased in this particular water body, then it will lead to the growth of the algae, this algal bloom. This process is called eutrophication. This process I will explain you in a great detail, but right now just I am giving you the reference that this nitrogen, when converted to the fertilizer, when it is used in excess, then that particular nitrogen comes to the water body with the help of leaching of the soil, leaching of that nitrogen component from the soil. It will lead to the increase of the concentration of the nitrogen in the water body, and that will lead to the algal bloom. Means that what is algal and what is algal bloom, that I will discuss you in eutrophication process. Here just I am giving you the reference. And when this nitrogen is fixing process, here you can see this atmospheric nitrogen is converted to the ammonia, and when this ammonia is converted to the nitrite or nitrate, then it will be called nitrification. And when this nitrate is again converted to the nitrogen, then it will be called denitrification. And when this organism is decayed, then the nitrogen present in those organisms are converted to the ammonia, then this is called ammonification. And when this all different forms, nitrite, nitrate, ammonia, ammonium, is taken by the plant, then it is called assimilation. So all the five steps which I have explained you are available in this particular diagram. Next process means that nitrification part through different image. Here you can see that nitrification, already I have explained you that here the NH3, it will be NH3, some printing like mistakes, NH3 is converted to nitrite and nitrate. Here the bacteria working, that bacteria name is nitrosomonas, and here the bacteria that is converting nitrogen dioxide to nitrate, means nitrite to nitrate, is called nitrobacter. What is taking place here? It is taking place oxidation. So when the oxidation of ammonia happens, then it converts to the nitrite, and when the oxidation of nitrogen nitrite happen, then it becomes to nitrate. So this nitrification is a oxidation process, and oxidation process means it happens in the presence of oxygen. So it is a aerobic process. Very important point. Aerobic process. Aerobic process are those process which happens in the presence of oxygen. Very important. Okay, so this, if the statement is like this, that nitrification is an aerobic process, then this particular statement will be correct. Sorry. Yes. What was denitrification? So denitrification was the converting the ammonia. Yes, somebody is commenting that oxidation is the process adding of oxygen. Yes, it is the adding of the oxygen. But in this oxidation process, with the help of adding of the oxygen, what is the product? Nitrite. In the nitrite, with the help of adding of oxygen, what is the process? Nitrite. So you are commenting right that oxidation is a process of adding of oxygen. But what is the final product? Ammonia to nitrite and then nitrite to nitrate. So this is an aerobic process. Okay. And when this nitrate is again converted back to nitrite and ammonia and then different forms of nitrogen, then this process is called denitrification. Here this NH3 is there. By mistake it is written NH2. So it will be NH3. Okay. So what is nitrification and denitrification? You will be, I think it is clear part. Now we are here, the bacteria is Nitrosomonas, Nitrobacter, but the ammonia is converting back to the nitrogen, atmospheric nitrogen. Here the bacteria is Pseudomonas, Clostridium. This bacteria name, I think not important, but just you should have basic idea. Means once if you heard the name, then you will be able to eliminate the option. Denitrification, same process. I have explained you that the nitrate component will be converted to nitrite and then nitrite to again ammonia and then again nitrogen. Okay. So in this process, one very important thing that will be used in the global warming and that ozone layer depletion. That point is there, that in the, here you can see in the image, in the process of denitrification, one of the product is N2O. This N2O is very important. This N2O is called nitrous oxide. It is called nitrous oxide. You have to remember this thing, that denitrification, in the process of denitrification, sometimes it leaks the N2O. N2O is called nitrous oxide. Name you have to remember. And this nitrous oxide is a ozone depleting substance. You have to remember this thing. And it is also a greenhouse gas. So what is ozone depleting substance? What is ozone and how the ozone depletion take place? What is greenhouse gases? What is greenhouse effect? That is different, altogether different topic that I will explain you. Right now, you just have to remember that this denitrification process, one of the component is nitrous oxide, N2O, which acts as a ozone depleting substance or greenhouse gas substance. And in this process, which type of bacteria is used? Pseudomonas. I have told you in the previous slide also. This name, if you have heard sometime, then you will be able to eliminate the option. So now we have understood the nitrogen cycle. Again, with the help of different example, same thing has been repeated here. This is the atmospheric nitrogen. This atmospheric nitrogen is atmospheric nitrogen fixation. Nitrogen fixing bacteria, it is converted to ammonia or ammonium ion, and when it is converted to the nitrite and nitrate, then it will be called nitrification. And when this different parts, nitrate, nitrite, ammonium is taken by the plant, then it is called assimilation. And when this nitrate is converting back to the nitrite and then ammonia and then N2, then it is called denitrification. And in this process, the bacteria is denitrification bacteria. Okay, same thing with the help of different image, because this particular concept is very important. Same thing, all thing, whatever I have explained you, that is available in this particular image. There you can see atmospheric nitrogen. This nitrogen fixing bacteria living in the legume root nodules, example is rhizobium, they are converting the nitrogen into ammonia and this ammonia or ammonium, and when this ammonia or ammonium is converted to nitrite and nitrate, then it will be called nitrification, and when this nitrate is converted to the atmospheric nitrogen again, then it will be called denitrification, and when this different forms is taken by the plant, then it is called assimilation, and when the decomposition of this plant is happen, then that nitrogen component present in that plant is converted to the ammonia or ammonium product, then it is called ammonification. This process is ammonification. So I hope this particular concept is clear to you. All the 5 steps is clear to you. Now we are moving to the question part. The questions asked in prelims 2013. You have to solve this question and comment in the comment section. Not sure. This not sure will not work. You have to be sure. Try to apply the thing which I have told you. This question easily can be solved with the help of whatever till now I have explained you, but you need to extract the thing from that this particular concept I explained that particular thing, that you have to extract the thing, then this question will be solved. So from not sure to just you tried, it's good. Yes, is read the every statement carefully. I have explained you everything, but maybe in different part I have explained different concept. Yes, yes, you are going in right direction. Yes. Your confusion will be on option 2, burning of coal by man. Option, so statement first. So question is, which of the following adds nitrogen to the soil? So first is excretion of urea by animal. So that in excretion process, nitrogen definitely added to the atmosphere. It is correct. So first statement is correct. B is gone. Burning of coal by man and death of vegetation. So death of vegetation, that decomposition process I have told you. In the decomposition process also nitrogen is added to the atmosphere. So it is also correct. Third statement is also correct. So one is gone. Now the answer is depending on the second question, second statement. That is the burning of coal by men. So you have to remember that when the burning of the coal happens, in that process, this nitrogen gas is also released in the form of different type of oxides of nitrogen. Okay, when I will explain that air pollution part, then we will come to this particular part again. So right now you have to remember that burning of coal is also adding to the nitrogen in the soil. So answer will be D, 1, 2 and 3. Now we are moving to the next concept, that is the, till now we have understood the oxygen cycle, that is a gaseous cycle. So in the gaseous cycle, that is a perfect cycle. In the perfect cycle, when the nutrient is utilized and it is replacement of that particular nutrient is happen, then the time gap is very less. So in the perfect cycle, most of the gaseous cycle is example of perfect cycle. So in the gaseous cycle, we have understood the water cycle, we have understood the carbon cycle, and we have understood the nitrogen cycle, which was very confusing, but I hope now it is clear to you. And second part is imperfect cycle. Imperfect cycle, in the imperfect cycle part, when the nutrient is utilized and that replacement of nutrient is happen, then that time gap is more, or the complete nutrition, that replacement doesn't take place, some nutrient escaped from the system, and that particular part is called imperfect cycle. So all the most of the sedimentary cycle, if you have studied about the different type of rocks in the geography sections, igneous rock, sedimentary rock, metamorphic rock, so this sedimentary cycle are example of imperfect cycle. And in this sedimentary cycle, that phosphorus cycle, phosphorus and sulfur cycle, so these two cycles we are going to discuss right now. So what is the source? Here the source was in the perfect cycle, gaseous cycle, the source was atmosphere. Source of what? Source of nutrient. Source of nutrient was atmosphere. Means from the atmosphere nutrient was coming and then it is moving in a cycle. Here what is the source? Here the source of nutrient is sedimentary cycle, means basically earth's surface we are moving to the this different type of cycles. For example, phosphorus cycle. So first of all, you should know the sources of the phosphorus. So sources of the phosphorus here is, because the questions are asked regarding the carbon sources, nitrogen sources, so likewise the questions can be framed on the sources of the phosphorus also. So phosphorus, that carbon and nitrogen is mainly is taken from the atmosphere, but this phosphorus, right now we are studying the phosphorus cycle. So this phosphorus is available mainly in the form of mineral in phosphate rocks, very important. Phosphate rock, in the phosphate rock in the form of mineral, this phosphorus is present, and it is coming to the atmosphere with the help of erosion process and mining activities. When the mining activities take place, then when we extract the different type of ores, then in this process also phosphorus come into the atmosphere. And when a particular rock is there, and when this phosphate rock is there, and when the decomposition of this rock happen, and this phosphorus component move from one location to different location, this process is called erosion. This particular phenomena you will study in great detail in geography section. Means what all are the sources of erosion? It may be through the process of air, it may be through the process of water, and many more different phenomena is there. Reason was there for the phenomena of erosion. So I am concerning only the meaning of the erosion, that when this phosphate rock, when the erosion will happen, then it will provide us the phosphorus in the atmosphere. Okay, so mining activities and that erosion is the primary source of phosphorus in the atmosphere, and the main storage for phosphorus in the atmosphere is the earth's crust. And on the land, phosphorus is mainly found in the form of phosphates, important, in the form of phosphates. And this phosphorus is present in the living organism themselves, and it is a part of DNA molecules. It is a part of in the our body, that energy is stored in the form of ATP and ADP, adenosine triphosphate, adenosine diphosphate. You just remember that energy is stored in the form of ATP and ADP. In that also phosphorus is used. It is also used in the fats of cell membrane. So it is also present in the bones. It is also present in the teeth. So you have to remember all the sources of phosphorus, this daily life sources. And this decomposition of dead and decaying matter, this decomposition word again coming. Earlier this decomposition adding carbon, decomposition adding nitrogen, and now this decomposition also adding phosphorus in the system. Okay, so this decomposition also adds phosphorus in the system. So these all sources you need to remember. That part you have to remember, because in exams you will not get from that invisible thing, that you need to remember this thing. Only then you will be able to know that what all are the sources of the nitrogen. And by the process of, I have told you, weathering and mining activities, that phosphorus come into the atmosphere. Weathering and erosion, one second. By the process of weathering and erosion, this phosphorus enters into the river streams. Here, first I am explaining with the help of image, then it will be clear to you. Here you can see in this particular image that one more thing, phosphorus, it is a sedimentary cycle. So with the help of this phosphate rocks and with the help of this volcanism, in the process of volcanism, this atmospheric phosphorus is present, and when this atmospheric phosphorus in the form of these rocks, when erosion take place, then this phosphate component move to the, with the help of water, it moves to the water body. Here it is present, and when this phosphorus is combining, and when it is means when it is adding at the water sources, then it will starts, sediments start increasing, and after some time when this, it will also become a rock type structure, and again that erosion will take place, water will come to the water body. So this cycle will be completed like this, because every cycle I have told you, same nutrient will repeat in a cycle. So here the nutrient is phosphorus, so that phosphorus will come to the atmosphere, and then it will again come to the same location. So what was the source of the atmosphere? Source of the atmosphere was those mining and activities in the phosphate rocks at the land. So these phosphate rocks, with the erosion of this phosphate rock, phosphorus will enter to the water system, and when this water system will start combining at the water body, then after some time it will act as a, again it will form a different type of rocks, and same that rock will be, erosion will happen, and it will come to the again water body. So this cycle will be completed. This is the phosphorus cycle. Okay, so here you can see from this, again from this example image also, here this decomposition also lead to the adding of the phosphorus in the system. For example, this particular weathering of the phosphate rock, and due to rain, this phosphate component which is present in the phosphate rock or on the land, it will start depositing in the water body, and it will start accumulating in the water body, and after a very long time it will form a new rocks that is made of phosphate. So again that rock decomposition will happen, and this phosphorus will move in a cycle, and it will be called phosphorus cycle. So you have to remember the thing that this phosphorus is what is the source? Source is basically the phosphate rock, and it comes into the picture with the help of mining activities and erosion. These two keyword mining and erosion is very important. Okay, now you can understood here the same thing which I have explained you, that this phosphorus will move in a cycle, that is will be called phosphorus cycle. So another component is sulfur cycle. So in the sulfur cycle, same thing will be happen, but now the source will be source of the sulfur. So sulfur cycle is also, it is also a sedimentary cycle, sedimentary cycle, and most of the sulfur containing product are in the in the solid form. Only two product, that is the sulfur dioxide and hydrogen sulfide, these two products are in the gaseous form. This point you have to remember. Okay, this point is important. Other thing is same sulfur will come to the cycle, then again it will move in a cycle and it will come to the same location. So most of the sulfur product, only two sulfur component are in the gaseous form, that is the sulfur dioxide and hydrogen sulfide. These two you have to remember. And when this sulfur dioxide, atmospheric sulfur dioxide, start reacting with the water, then it is called, it make sulfuric acid, H2SO4, and this is a acid, sulfuric acid. This concept again will come when I will explain you acid rain. So in the acid rain, when the atmospheric sulfur present in the form of sulfur dioxide will react with the water component, then it will make sulfur dioxide, which is acid, and it will lead to the acid rain. Okay, so you have to remember this point, sulfur dioxide. And it will also make, when for example this particular land is here, particular field is here, soil is here, this is soil component. Now due to the acid rain, this acid rain, the acidity of the soil will increase. Acidity of soil will increase, and this increase in the acidity of the soil will be problematic for many bacteria, which are very important for the growth of the plants. So due to the increasing acidity of the soil due to acid rain, the bacteria will start dying. So it will impact the growth of the plant also. Okay, I will come to this particular point in later slides when I will discuss the acid rain. But right now you have to remember that sulfur cycle, most of the products is sedimentary products, but two products, especially sulfur dioxide and hydrogen sulfide, is in the form of gaseous form. Okay, this hydrogen sulfide I have used in current affair classes also. Environment related current affair class, I have used this hydrogen sulfide, that if in the gas this hydrogen sulfide component is present, then that particular natural gas is called sweet gas. This is called sweet gas. And if in a natural gas that hydrogen sulfide component is absent, then it is called sour gas. What was the example, all the things I have explained you in the current affair classes of our environment section in the last class. So now what is the sulfur cycle? Same thing that I am explaining with the help of image. You can see here the source of sulfur. Sulfur in fossil fuels, the source is here, the source is also mining process. With the help of mining process, this sulfur, when this sulfur dioxide in the form of, when this fossil fuel is combustion of fossil fuel occur, then this sulfur is transformed into sulfur dioxide, and that sulfur dioxide is present in the atmosphere. Okay, sulfur dioxide in atmosphere. And when this sulfur dioxide will react with the atmospheric water, when it starts raining, then it will form acid. That acid is sulfuric acid. So acidic precipitation, rain and snow, and sulfur dioxide and sulfate from volcanic at hot speed. This is very important point. Volcanic activity is one of the important source of sulfur. Okay, you have to remember this point. Sulfur dioxide and sulfate from volcanic and hot spring also, it is a source of sulfur. Very important. You will again study in the geography section also. But here you can remember that in the volcanic activity, sulfur dioxide is also released. So when this sulfur dioxide react with the water, then it convert to the sulfuric acid, and that sulfuric acid will come to this water body in the form of sulfuric acid, and here the sulfur starts depositing same way like the phosphorus starts depositing. And when the sulfur starts depositing, and after some time the rock containing the sulfur will be established. The same process like the phosphorus cycle we have explained you, but the difference is that here the sulfur is moving in a cycle, there that phosphorus was moving in the cycle. And this sulfur is also taken by the plant. Here you can see with the help of example, sulfur is taken in the form of sulfates from the plant. And when this decomposition of the plant happen, then it adds sulfur in the atmosphere. In the means, if it is in the soil, then it will add sulfur in the soil because it is a sedimentary cycle. So you have to remember this thing. Now the same thing here you can see what all are the sources that I have explained you here written in the form of words. Okay, so the main reservoir of the sulfur is soil and sediments. It is formed in the organic form also, like in the coal, oil and peat, and inorganic deposit also like pyrite and sulfur rock, very important, in the form of sulfate, sulfide and organic sulfur. Okay, and when this sulfur containing rock is weathering of this rock happen, this erosional runoff and decomposition of organic matter, this all process will lead to the adding of the sulfur in the sedimentary cycle. And most of the sulfur product are sedimentary except two, that is the hydrogen sulfide and sulfur dioxide. They contain gaseous component, very important. And when this atmospheric sulfur dioxide is react with the water, then it makes sulfuric acid that I have explained you. And sulfur in the form of sulfates is taken by the plant. And when this decomposition of the plant happen, then it again adds sulfur to the soil. Means same thing is repeating again and again, but the thing is here the nutrient is sulfur. Okay, so now we are moving to our next component, that is the ecological succession. So ecological succession, we were studying the functions of ecosystem. If you are able to remember, we were studying the functions of ecosystem. In that functions of ecosystem, we already studied the energy cycle, in the last class. This nutrient cycle in this class. Third part is ecological succession. This part is very simple, so I am completing this part here because it's very simple. Ecological succession, well, what is the meaning of the word succession? Succession is that, for example, here a particular community is there. For example, this is the barren area. No plant or animal community is here. So the first plant or animal community which will start colonizing this area, it will be called pioneer community. And after this community, after passing through different stages, it ultimately leads to the final community. That will be called climax community. You will be able to relate when I will show the diagram. And in between, different stages are there. Those are called serial communities. So pioneer community, starting point, different steps, serial community, and final is climax community. Okay, so this succession means different type of vegetation means occurring in a particular area, that is called succession. And if The starting point is that no vegetation was present there. Then it will be called primary succession. In the primary succession, starting point was nothing, means no vegetation was present there. Some different type of organisms like my lichens, I have explained you earlier, lichens, mosses, they start colonizing the area and starts this process of succession. Then nothing was present there, then start happen, then it called primary succession. You will get to know when I will show you the image. And if something was already present here, for example, here a forest was there, and after the forest fire burning, complete forest destroyed. So now nothing is there. Earlier it was forest was present, due to forest fire complete forest destroyed, and then again this succession start, then it will be called secondary succession. Means something was present there, but due to any factor, maybe it may be man-made factor, it may be due to the natural factor like drought and maybe any other reason. If that particular community is destroyed and again succession start, then it will be called secondary succession. It is the basic difference. So now you will get to relate. So ecological succession, what is ecological succession? Ecological succession is the process by which communities of plant and animal species in an area are replaced or changed into another over a period of time is called ecological succession. Earlier, different type of plant or animal was there, but due to changes, the types of the plant and animal is changing, then it will be called ecological succession. And this change is directional change in vegetation on an ecological time scale. It is called ecological succession. And till what time this succession will happen? Till the starting point I have told you, pioneer community, and end point is climax community. This word is important. So when till that particular part will reach to the climax community, till then that ecological succession starts happening. So that climax community is a stable, mature community. Till this stage is achieved, that ecological succession starts happening. And the first plant to colonize an area, I have told you, is called pioneer community, and the final stage is called climax community. And the different stages in between pioneer community and the climax community is called serial community. And when this climax community is established, then it will be stable, very important point, mature, more complex, and long lasting community. These keywords are very important. Okay, so you have to remember this thing. What is ecological succession? So here you can see it is an example of primary succession. I have told you in the primary succession nothing was there. It is bare rock. First lichens starts colonizing. Lichens is a symbiosis relationship. You have need to refer previous classes. Symbiosis relationship of algae and fungi. Then it is called lichens. Then different type of plants starts growing. Then is shrubs, herbs, and then tree. This is first is herbs, then shrubs, and then tree starts growing in this direction. So small annual plants and lichens, grasses and perennials, grasses, shrubs, and shade intolerant trees, and then tolerant tree. So the starting point is pioneer species, final point is climax community, and intermediate part is intermediate species or serial communities or serial species. Now this primary succession, I have told you in the primary succession nothing is present. So bare rock was there, and then succession start, then it will be called primary succession. So bare or unoccupied area. And what is the starting point? The starting species are called pioneer species, very important. So what are microbes, lichens and mosses? Mosses, I have told you that earlier, I will told you. So now that time has come to explain the mosses. I will explain you in further slides. So these are the starting points, and after that, that community passed through different stages, and finally it reached to the climax community, that is a stable mature community. Okay, that is called primary succession. Here you can see in this particular example, bare rock, nothing was present here. Then lichens and different things are coming, and this is pioneer stage, intermediate stage, climax stage, and these are the example of mosses. What are the characteristics that I will explain you in further class. This particular part I will explain you in next class, because already I have explained you primary and secondary succession. So I am completing the secondary succession part. So in the secondary succession part, I have told you that something is present, but due to the complete or partial destruction, that whatever thing was present, that is destroyed, and now again succession is start, then it will be called secondary succession. So the sequential development of biotic communities after the complete or partial destruction of the existing community. It may be naturally, like example of floods, droughts, fires, or by maybe due to the human intervention like the deforestation, agriculture, or overgrazing. So in the primary succession, nothing was present, but in secondary succession, something was present, but that was destroyed, and then succession start. So something was present, so now the process of succession will be fast. So you need to remember this point, that secondary succession starts on a well developed soil already formed in the site. So usually faster than primary succession, very important, because in primary succession nothing was present, in secondary succession something was present, so that destroyed, then succession start. So something was present, due to that part, this succession is faster than primary succession. The same thing have been explained in the form of words. Here you can see, this was the forest, this forest was destroyed with the help of forest fire, and due to, one second, this forest is there, and this forest is destroyed due to forest fire, and now the same thing is destroyed, and now the succession is again starting, but already something was present and then destroyed, and then succession starts. So this is an example of secondary succession, and this secondary succession is faster than primary succession. Okay, this point you need to remember. Another one is classification is based on two more classification is there, that is autogenic and allogenic, and after that terrestrial succession and aquatic succession. So do I need to complete, or we will discuss in next class? Please let me know. Next class is okay. I can understand from last 2 hours you are with me. Somebody saying complete it. So some students are saying to complete now itself. Some are saying for next class. So what concepts are remaining in this particular part? Till now we have understood the succession on the basis of starting point, that if starting it is nothing, then it will be called primary succession. And okay, I will take it to the next class, but just I am giving an overview, that if the succession classification is based on that what is at the starting point. If starting nothing is present, then primary, something is present, then secondary. Another classification is based on what factors are affecting. Means if biological factor is acting, then it will be called autogenic succession, and if abiotic factor is acting, then it will be called allogenic succession. Another classification is based on type of habitat, that what is where the habitat is located. If it is on the terrestrial, then it will be called terrestrial succession. It is on the aquatic, then aquatic succession. And another one is that autotrophic and heterotrophic. Autotrophic means the green plants on the land, they make their own food, and the starting point is green plant, then it will be called autotrophic succession. And starting point is heterotrophic, means those which depend on other animal, though animal and plant, they are called heterotrophic. And if the starting point is heterotrophic element, then it will be called heterotrophic succession. So this particular part I will explain you in next class, and after that we will go to some important keywords like the what all are these keystone species, what is this indicator species, what is umbrella species, and what is the difference between keystone and umbrella species, what is flagship species. These keywords are similar type, but you may be confused, and questions is already asked in prelims, so we will solve these questions also. But today I am stopping here itself, and we will start from the that remaining portion we left, we will continue from the next class. So I hope this lecture is helping you. If it is helping you, if then please let me know. And any type of suggestion for the environment lectures, you can tell me. Any problem in today's class, like that visibility point of view or sound point of view, that needs to be improved? No issue. Okay, no problem. Okay, so that revision part, that is on your end. Just after completing the class, first part your should be to revise this particular lecture, because on the same day, if you will remember, that concept will be concrete in your mind. Okay, so thank you. It was a weighted class. Okay. uh, so some students were from South India, so they were telling to sir that Hindi, you need to decrease the component of Hindi in the class. No issue. So I think Prinka is from South India, so it is comfortable to you, or still you are facing in that language part some difficulty? Okay. So whatever problem you are facing, you can tell me, that I will incorporate, that you will not face any problem. Okay, you can understand Hindi. Okay, no issue. But somebody I don't know told sir to reduce the component of Hindi. So today I used very less Hindi component. No issue. We will use this language which you will be comfortable. Okay. So thank you. Thanks for this lecture. And tomorrow we are again meeting. But tomorrow we are meeting at 9 a.m. Sir, I think I have not informed you. So today's class started from 10 a.m. Tomorrow we are meeting at 9 a.m. Till then, bye bye. Thank you.